to it, and feel free to comment if you would like. There's the new Daniel study guide currently being worked on. I was here till 3 in the morning, pecking away and just fine tuning some stuff that I had already written. And I want this to be something that's very helpful to people. And so we are getting there. It won't be much longer. Just hang on just a little longer. Those of you who pre-ordered several months ago, hang on just a little longer. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be good. All right, this is November the 21st, 2024, and it is 8:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No, that's not correct. It's 9:06 Eastern Time. It's 8:06 Central Standard Time. All right, going to be very brief. There's a bear, a raging bear, loose in the woods. Now, who is that bear? Well, before I tell you who that bear is, let me tell you what I know about bears. If you are ever in the woods and you come up on a bear, especially if it's got cubs, you could be in big trouble. But if you ever come up on a bear, the last thing you want to do is to corner that thing. Corner that bear to where it's got nowhere to go, nowhere, it can't go back, can't go to the sides, because you know what it's going to do? It's coming for you. Did you hear me? It's coming for you. If you corner a bear, that bear is coming for you. And we better learn a lesson here, because the Bible speaks of the bear from the north. Russia is likened unto a bear. Okay? And we are messing with that bear. I'm talking about America. Yes, NATO is as well, but NATO does what America tells it to do. Don't forget that. America runs the world. Our money bribes everybody. We got military. I think 140 countries of the world are military based there. I keep telling people say America's not in the Bible. What are you talking about? Where have you been? Have you not listened to anything that I've said over the last 7 or 8 years? My goodness, the Babylon of Revelation 18 is right here. Right, it's inside the Beltway up there. Have you been to Washington, D.C. lately? I don't recommend you spend much time there, but I'm telling you, it's the beast system right there. And we're running the world. We're controlling things. I realize it's not the one world empire yet, but it's on the verge of it. And America is the key player here. I'm not saying that couldn't change. I don't think it's going to, but it could. But I believe if you read Revelation 18, I believe you'll come to the same conclusion that I come to. That's speaking about America. I'm talking about the smoke rising at the end of the tribulation. I'm talking about the shipmen and the merchants of the world who have lived off the milk cow of America, weeping over the smoke rising because their milk cow is gone. Their cash cow is gone. Okay? It's us. It's us, it's us, it's us, oh Lord. And okay, you can believe what you want. You can think it's Iraq over there in the Middle East if you want to. In my book, The Mystery of the Jubilee, as well as it's in a few other books now as well, but I wrote a chapter called The Mystery of Three Babylons. And you need to go and read that. I'm afraid a lot of you, some of you get my books, but I don't think some of you read my books. Because, I mean, just by the things that you say sometimes, it's like, you haven't paid attention. Okay? The three Babylons is this literal Babylon. That's over there in Iraq. Figurative Babylon. I can show you a place in the Bible where sin and wickedness is figuratively attributed to Babylon. And number three, prophetic Babylon. See, and I say in the book, the fact that right at the end of the chapter, I say, think of Babylon not as a physical place. Do I have one of them books here? Thought I did, but I ain't seeing. I thought I had one right here. Anyway, don't think of it as a physical place, but as a spiritual, an entity, and and I believe it's being run from right here. Of course, anyway, um, ask anybody that knows anything about Washington D.C. and what's going on there. It's a cesspool. And our congressmen and senators that get voted in, and they march to Washington. If they're there more than a few years, they get infected by it. Very few of them can go through that and not be infected by the monster there. The money and the influence and the power. And some of it's just pure evil. Pure evil. Is that proper grammar? Pure evil. All right. So there's a bear, a raging bear in the woods. His name is, he's got two names, Russia and Putin. I'm writing a Daniel study guide, right? When you read Daniel 2, you'll find that Dan, in fact, this is where I'm at right now. Let me go to that. I'm writing here, verse 38, Daniel 2:38. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven, had he given unto thine hand. He's speaking to Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel is interpreting the dream to Nebuchadnezzar. And hath made thee ruler over them all. Nebuchadnezzar, you're ruler over the fowls of the heaven and the beasts of the earth, he said. And then he said, thou art this head of gold. Now, wait a minute. I thought the head of gold was Babylon. It is. But it sounds like it's Nebuchadnezzar. It is. You cannot separate a kingdom from its king. I realize we don't all have kings today. We don't have a king, but technically it still applies here. America has been, the figurehead of America for 4 years almost has been a guy with dementia, a guy who don't even know who he is. And his name is Joe Biden. And there's been a man behind the scenes. We all know who it is. His last name starts with a big O. We know that he's running things. There's absolutely no doubt about that. He's been running things. He's probably the one who authorized the use of U.S. supersonic missiles to be used by Ukraine against Russia. He's probably the one that made that decision. And he probably didn't sign the document, but he did it. And in a month and a half, if he can live that long, and the world doesn't go into World War III, Donald Trump will be the figurehead, and Trump will be America. You know, when I was in the Navy, let me illustrate it this way. When I was in the Navy, when the captain came on board, you may not have saw him, but you'd hear on the intercom. Here's when he came on board, he was saluted, and the announcement was made, and I was on the USS Savannah. And the announcement was made, USS Savannah arriving. That meant the captain had just come on board the ship. The captain is the USS Savannah. Okay, you see what I'm saying here? Okay, so Daniel tells the king that he is the head of gold as depicted. I'm reading right out of the new book here. He tells the king he is the head of gold. I'm headed somewhere here, but don't forget, we're coming back to the bear in the woods, the raging bear. Daniel tells the king he is the head of gold as depicted in the dream of the statue. There it is, the statue, okay? Bring that on in a little closer here. The head of gold, that's Nebuchadnezzar, okay? He's going to be the world leader, so to speak, not the whole world, but the world as it relates to Israel and the kingdoms around Israel. Nebuchadnezzar is going to be the head of gold, he's going to be over that. Okay? And then, of course, the arms and the chest, that's going to be the silver. That's going to be Persia coming on the scene. And then the oh, let me see here. I underlined some things here. Where is it? Oh, it's up above here. So Persia is going to be the arms and the chest. So there's the head of gold. All right, here it is, right here. Verse 39. After thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to yours, inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass. Now, the second kingdom, of course, is Persia. The third kingdom, the brass, is Greece. Alexander the Great. You all know about him. He's talked about in the book of Daniel. He's talked about again later on. We'll get to that another day. And then the fourth kingdom, strong as iron, that's the two legs. That's going to be Rome. 322 BC, I believe it is. They'll be in power when Jesus comes on the scene. And then, of course, the 10 toes down here. And mixed with clay, iron and clay mixed together. And diversity. And the statue stands upon its feet. And it's going to be a giant one world kingdom made up of attributes of all. Okay? And ruled by the Antichrist for 7 years, but really 3.5 years, but basically 7 years as well. But he really gets power in the second half. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Interesting. And then, whereas you saw the iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. Has nothing to do with fallen angels. Nothing. It's not talking about Nephilim. Get away from that crazy fairy tale nonsense going around our prophecy conferences today. It's so sad what has happened to some of the great prophecy guys. They've fallen right into a trap. They've fallen down a deep hole and there's no way out. Chasing this stupid nonsense. I explain in my books, it'll be in the Daniel study guide, I explain what this diversity is all about. It's talking about the kingdoms of the people of the world forming the one world thing, and you're going to have all different culture people in the army or in the navy. And by the way, they don't mix. Diversity doesn't strengthen, it weakens a kingdom. And America's weak right now, and partly because of that. And so mingling themselves with the seed of men. You guys, you Nephilim guys, you read that and your mind goes, oh my goodness, there it is, the Nephilim. That's because you got a preconceived, crazy fairy tale notion in your head, and you read something like that and you can't handle it. It's not talking about that. And I write about that, and it'll be in the Daniel study guide here. But they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. They don't fit in together. Their cultures are different. And you get two different cultures, two different religions, different moral values, you're going to have problems. That's what's happening in America. People, you got men running around America that believe violence is good. They believe rape is good, and all that stuff. So, what a mess, huh? In the passage above, Daniel interprets the dream to King Nebuchadnezzar. Notice how Daniel very wisely indulges the king's pride when he says, "Thou art this head of gold." Oh, the king just sat up. Whoa, prize. I mean, he's pretty excited about that. All right, let's put Mr. Statue back up there. Daniel was not lying. He was, as the king was the head of gold, but Daniel was no doubt playing into the king's desire to be looked upon as great. And then Daniel describes the kingdoms that will arise in the future after Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom. And that final kingdom, Rome, never went away. It's just not as powerful. But that kingdom's coming back, and we did some shows about that. The return of Rome, remember that? And that Roman Empire is coming back strong, and it's just a matter of, it could be months, could be weeks. That kingdom's here. They're waiting on somebody to rise up and take the reins and become the leader of it. That man will be the Antichrist. All right, so what's this got to do with the bear in the woods? Well, let's go back. I got a couple of stories for you here. Let's see. That's not the one I want, but we'll come back to that one. Here's the one I want. And I posted both articles on the page. This one is from today, November 21st. It's from Sundance, whoever that is. The headline is this: Russia did not fire an ICBM today, comma. They fired something much worse, a message. They sent a message. Despite the diminutive Ukrainian President Zelensky jumping around and shouting about Russians firing an ICBM today, they didn't. Instead, Russian President Vladimir Putin decided his response to the U.S.-led NATO group firing missiles. You remember what we talked about Tuesday, right? America and now some of the NATO nations have all agreed to give U.S. supersonic missiles to the Ukraine. Now, I tell you this, I can't prove this, but I have a feeling. That America has people on the ground operating the launching of these missiles. I don't know that for sure. Listen, we're at war with Russia. Have you figured this out yet? We're at war with Russia. We're at war with the bear from the north. Thousands of miles from us. Ukraine's got nothing to do with America. Ukraine's got nothing to do with us. Half the people in Ukraine speak Russian. What are we doing up there? You're going to find out in just a moment. So, Russia did bomb a city in Ukraine. In response to, I believe, 6 missiles have been fired at Russia. 5 of those missiles were taken out. One of them was broken up and it landed, did a little bit of damage on a military base in Russia. Russia's not so much upset about that as it is the fact that America and NATO are actively in this war providing very serious weaponry to the Ukraine. Now, what does Russia do about this? They sent a missile into Ukraine, and it did much damage. Evidently, Mr. Zelensky of the Ukraine is upset, claiming that that Vladimir Putin has fired an illegal ICBM into the country. That's according to world standards, that's not allowed. And however, they did not do any such thing. Instead, Russian President Putin decided his response would be to NATO and U.S. group firing missiles into the Russian Federation would be to send a message via a multi-warhead intermediate range hypersonic missile. Putin said one of the newest Russian medium-range missile systems was tested in combat conditions, in this case with a ballistic missile in non-nuclear hypersonic edition. The missile has a range of 3,500 kilometers, below the threshold of the ICBMs, Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty, SALT. That's a reach throughout Western Europe, and the hypersonic message is likely you have no to Europe. He's saying you have no Iron Dome system that can prevent these missiles from hitting you. Talking about his missiles. Now, is he right about that? I don't know. It's very possible he is. I do not think Europe realizes how close they are to a big mess happening upon them. Russia fired this is coming out of Kiev, November 21st, from Reuters. This is from Reuters now. Russia fired a hypersonic intermediate range ballistic missile at the city of Dnipro, D-N-I-P-R-O, on Thursday, that's today, in response to the U.S. Now remember, they're ahead of us. Okay. Um, I don't know how many, 8 or 9 hours ahead of us, something like that. Anyway. And so, in response to the United States and the UK allowing Kiev to strike Russian territory with advanced Western weapons in a further escalation of the 33-month war, where 500,000 or more young men have died in battle, in a war that never should have started in the first place. Russian President Vladimir Putin, in a televised address, said Moscow struck a Ukrainian military facility with a new ballistic missile known as Oreshnik. Oreshnik. Did I say that right? Oreshnik. And in parentheses, in English, I guess it's the Hazel. I don't know what that means, but. And he warned that more could follow. Now, you let one of the missiles get by in Russia and blow up a city. You have no idea what's getting ready to happen. Now, so far, he took out 5 of the missiles. No problem. The 6th one was broken up and it landed and it did some damage, but nothing to get too excited about. But he has retaliated to send a message to Europe and America, Babylon the Great, that you continue down this road and this is what's coming to you. And by the way, Europe probably get it first. They're right there. A regional conflict in Ukraine previously provoked by the West has acquired elements of a global character, Putin said in an address to the nation carried by state television after 8 p.m. Moscow time, 1700 GMT time, whatever. I don't know what time that is, but a U.S. official said that Washington, Babylon, was pre-notified by Russia shortly before the strike, while another said they had briefed Kiev and other close allies in recent days to prepare for the possible use of such a weapon. That's very generous of Mr. Putin, wouldn't you say? Very generous. To say, look, you better be ready. We're going to do such and such real soon. It's unusual in war to do that. That's how confident he is that his missile is going to do its job. And he wasn't so much wanting to kill people as he was wanting to make a statement, blow up some military stuff, and send a message to Babylon, Washington, D.C., and the idiots in NATO, in Europe, that don't know what they're doing. They're taking their orders from Obama. And so, now I want to read you another story. This is interesting as well. This is it's on the Gateway Pundit, and it's by Jim Hoft. Here's the title. And this title is from the former president of Russia, not Putin, the one before him. And I got to bleep out a word here. Now in quotes, that's what you wanted, ? You blank well got it. Former Russian President Medvedev taunts the West after Russia launches hypersonic ballistic attack on Ukraine. There's video of him here. Here's a picture. It's on my site. On Thursday, former Russian President Medvedev taunted the West by posting video of Russia's hypersonic ballistic missile attack on Ukraine. He wrote, "So that's what you wanted. Well, you got it. and with a expletive in there. Um, Now, there's something down at the end of this. If you read this story, make sure you go down below the pictures there and read the bottom, because this is amazing. And I'm going to skip all this stuff in the middle. BRICS News, it talks about the 5 missiles that were shot into Russia that were taken out, and the one that was damaged, fragments fell to the ground in a military area. If we're being told the truth here. Sometimes countries lie about the devastation, Now listen to this. Here's the last few paragraphs that you need to hear. You need to go read this and maybe share it on your page. Putin, following reports of Biden's decision to give Ukraine permission to long-range missiles that provided by America and NATO, approved the updated nuclear doctrine of the Russian Federation. As part of the new doctrine, Russia spelled out that aggression against Russia and its allies by a non-nuclear country with the support of a nuclear state, America and some other Europeans, will be considered a joint attack. Right? Did you hear that? Now, is he right? I mean, if Mexico started to launch Scud missiles across the border from Mexico to New Mexico, kind of got in war with us, and let's say Central America gives them some missiles and gets involved that way, aren't we in war with both of them technically? Yeah, of course. On Wednesday morning, Joe Biden approved anti-personnel landmines for Ukraine, undoing his previous policy. According to Reuters, the United States expects Ukraine to use the mines in its own territory, though it has committed not to use them in areas populated with its own civilians. The Washington Post first reported the development. The mines are designed for use against humans. Joe Biden just authorized these horrible weapons to blow up humans in Ukraine. Via Reuters, the United States has provided Ukraine with anti-tank mines throughout its war with Russia. But the addition of anti-personnel mines aims at blunting the advance of Russian ground troops. Now, that's not what I want. Where is the part that I want? It's not in this article. All right, let's go back to the other one. Maybe it's in this one. Maybe it's down the bottom of this one. All right. It's in the first article. The article from Sundance. Russia did not fire an ICBM today. They fired something much worse. It's down further down in here. Let me see. I don't want to skip anything. Oh. All right. As the design of the strategy appears to be unfolding, Great Britain, with U.S. covert operational support, will position themselves inside Moldova. NATO troops are already on the ground there, much to the anxiety of the average Moldovan. The intellectual, honest people of Moldova, using the reference point of prior activity by the U.S. in Ukraine, clearly see themselves being set up as cannon fodder for Western military usefulness. In other words, they may get that missile next. And it won't be our guys that get it, it'll be theirs. So NATO appear likely to use the geography of Moldova to provoke Russia into some form of response. The UK can then declare their troops under attack, and NATO can respond with mutual defense of the UK pact via Moldova. The baseline for the continued need to avoid any secession or hostilities in Ukraine is financial. Here's what I want you to get, these last few paragraphs, and I'll shut her down after this. In other words, the reasoning or the baseline or the reasoning for the continued need to avoid stopping this war. That's what he said. It's worded funny, but that's what they're saying here. Why can't we end this war? Why can't they get to the table and put an end to this? Here's why. Because it's financial. BlackRock. Have you heard of BlackRock? JP Morgan. Have you heard of them? Have exclusive rights. Listen to this. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. BlackRock and JP Morgan, some of the richest entities in the world, have exclusive rights to the rebuilding of the Ukraine. In other words, they're going to be paid to do it. They're going to make billions rebuilding the place after they helped destroy it, with access to all the resources therein. And there's a link here. It is finance.yahoo, Ukraine Reconstruction Bank sees. Okay, you can click on the link. Thus, there is an alignment of interest between BlackRock, J.P. Morgan, NATO, the U.S. State Department, and all the Democrats and rhinos that are involved with their hands up making money off this. We learned all this while Trump was in his last year of office. We learned about all this stuff and the corruption going on with people in our government and the internal operatives of the Biden administration, including his son. At the same time, the deep state, in parentheses, those who control Biden, the intelligence community, in combination with the anti-Trump Department of Justice, National Security Division, are using increased hostility to bait President-elect Trump into saying something contradictory about current U.S. NATO policy, which would be a Logan Act violation. And I don't understand all that. I understand a little bit of it there. So far, President Trump has remained quiet. Oh, I do know. See, he's not in government now. You've got to be authorized to speak on behalf of some of these things. He's president-elect, but he's not sworn in yet. That's got something to do with that. Now, I don't know if that statement is true, that they're trying to get him to say something. It may be, it may not be. At the same time, the deep state, no, I got that story. Here are two more paragraphs. So far, President Trump has remained quiet as the provocation against our peaceful interests are ongoing. Coffee break. For his part, Vladimir Putin has remained reserved and careful in his response. However, as U.S. NATO missiles continue to land inside the Russian Federation, and I don't know if there's more than those 6 at this time, there may be, I don't know. There is concern that Putin's restrained responses may indeed escalate. Of course they're going to. NATO is giving powerful weapons and basically in America and is involved in getting destructive missiles into Russia. You let some of them start hitting their targets. Russia's not just going to sit there. That's the bear is being pushed. The bear in the woods is the raging bear is being pushed further in. When he's got nowhere to go, what's that bear going to do? He's going to come out fighting. The claws will be out. He's going to come out swinging. You better not be in his way. You better not be in his way. You say, well, can America handle Russia? There is no handling Russia. There is no handling America in a nuclear war. There are no winners. There's only losers. All right. We hope there are back channels. In other words, conversations going on behind the scenes trying to stop this between Moscow and Mar-a-Lago. Now listen to this, listen to this, listen to this. However, without any doubt, the IC is looking to intercept any communication that might possibly be taking place. According to the Logan Act, I think that's what they're saying here. Trump has to be careful what he says. He's not in government yet. Everyone in and around the orbit of President Trump likely has national security surveillance. Let's call it what it is, spying. They did it on Trump before he even got in office in 2017, when he ran for office in 16. He was being spied upon in Trump Tower. That's a fact. Illegal. Illegal. They did it and they got away with it. We haven't held their feet to the fire yet. And the industrial war machine is attempting to defend itself against any peace effort. Let me read that again. The industrial war machine is attempting to defend itself against any peace effort because there's big bucks here. And then the author of this said, troublesome is an understatement. So go read that article for yourself, share it, and pray for the peace of Russia, America, Ukraine, and Europe. You know, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Hey, how about praying for Trump to know what to do? Praying for Mr. Putin to not fly off the handle here. They're trying to do it. And anyway, here's in the comments down below. Putin has made his speech earlier today. You can read it here in the Kremlin's official English translation. It is divisive, historically accurate as usual, and a serious warning to the West. And it's from the Kremlin. You can copy that and you can go and read his statement. I'm not a Putin fan. I'm against communism, but I know what's going on here. The bear is being poked, and that bear is going to head somewhere. Now he's going to lob a few missiles first, but I'll tell you where he's headed. According to the Bible, he's headed to the Golan Heights eventually. He's going to be pushed and poked. He's going to head to Israel. And I believe that's the end. I believe the rapture will be right in there. The rise of the Antichrist, all of it will happen right there. And it could be any day, or it could be a year from now. I don't know. But things are happening fast. All right, I've probably gone longer than I wanted to go. We've been about 38 minutes, I think. We've got a good crowd on here. Don't forget the Daniel Study Guide. I read some of it for you here. Just a few things some of that I wrote last night at between midnight and 3 in the morning. And I'll be doing it again tonight. I'm trying to get this thing to the printer real soon. There's not too much left to do. I've gone back and I'm making some things better, adding some things, and want this thing to be powerful. I want it to be good. And go and pre-order it. It'll be ready soon on the website, ProtestantSpotlight.com. You can see there's 2 ways to order it. You can order 1 book, $18.95 free shipping, or you can order 2 for $30 free shipping. Give 1 to the man of God there at your church, the pastor. And this Daniel Study Guide is going to be a help to anybody that gets it, especially some preachers. And okay, and I'll be working on that tonight. And we are going to the studio Saturday. We're actually going to do a series of Daniel shows on the new book. We're going to go chapter by chapter through Daniel, just like we did Revelation. And but we also got to squeeze in probably a couple of Christmas shows with Doc's Christmas DVDs and CDs that he has. Folks love it every year. And we'll be talking about the Christmas story from the true biblical perspective. You're going to learn a lot. And you're going to learn that the 3 wise men were not there at the birth of Christ. Okay? If you don't know that already, the manger scene is not correct, not biblical. I like the manger scene. It's part of Christmas. I like it. But I understand that it's not biblical. And, it was a year and a half or so later when they showed up. Okay. And Doc will bring that out. And the fact that where Jesus was born, you're going to be real shocked about that. So that'll be coming up here in shortly. By the way, we're on some new networks. We're on Faith. We're on Faith TV. You can find us Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Direct TV, channel 379. We're on there now. We've been on there, I think, a couple of months now, almost. And we're on some other networks that Greater Love TV. It's internet mostly, and you can Google that or whatever. And we're on Greater Love TV. We're on BBS Radio. We've been on there for several months now. We're getting in October, we had 55,000 people went to our show and clicked on our show on BBS Radio. That's amazing. I'm anxious to see how many we're going to get this month. And I haven't looked yet to see where the stats are at, but 55,000 last month. So that one's growing. So that's exciting. Remember, we are viewer supported. Our TV episodes, of course, YouTube is free. Our TV show is not very, very expensive. There are a lot of people, especially older folks, who watch us that have no access to internet. They'll never see us if we're not on CTN or VTN or Faith TV or some of these others. And so that's what the money goes to. And if you haven't given in a while, this will be a good time to go to Processing the Spotlight, hit one of them donate buttons, or call the 800 number and 505 spot 888-505 spot, and you can donate over the phone. And okay, we'll be on CTN tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern time, every Friday on CTN. I don't know how much longer we'll be on there. We're kind of on a grace period now. We got this final 3 months pay. We were going to go off, the end of August or the end of September. It was going to be but some money come in, and they gave us a little discount. We stayed on to the end of December. So I will have to turn in my notice the beginning of December at CTN and tell them unless the money comes in, we're going to be done in January. Very expensive. So we need a few of you to write a check for $1,000, $5,000, whatever you can do, $50, $100. It all goes to the propagation of propagating the Word of God. And Doc and I on television, we're on some radio. That's we don't pay for that either. But we're on several networks that we have to pay for. I have to raise, I think it's over $20,000 every 3 months. So, anybody want to pay for 3 months? Okay. So, all right. The raging bear in the woods. I hope you got this tonight. I shared some things Tuesday, and I think the week before. I'm telling you, we're headed high speed, full speed ahead towards Ezekiel 38 and 39. And, or it could be that some nuclear war breaks out before the rapture and we have to live through some bad times in this world. That can happen. And it sure seems like they're poking the bear, hoping it happens. These people are evil. Okay? All right. On that note, okay, we got a prayer request here. Esther, did you already give it? All right, please pray for my sister. I haven't paid attention to the comments here. Please pray for my sister. She could have her baby any day now. All right, so we got somebody having a baby. Pray for that. They're all asking where Van's at. He's not. Where's Van tonight? I don't know. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen any comments from him. Maybe he's going to watch after. Miss Caroline Newton down in, I think, North Carolina. Good to see you guys. And not too many, a lot of people watching tonight, but not too many people on the live stream posting here. That's all we got there. So, all right, I will post this. Hey, share this video as well. Share this video on your page and get people educated. All right. Till next time, keep your